Welcome to Engage Math, Algebra 1, Lesson 7, Problem number 1, where we are trying to write a function, g of h, that represents the number of gallons in the aquarium tank after h hours. So what we're going to start with is g of h represents the number of gallons after h hours, and there are 800 gallons leaving the tank every hour. So it's going to be negative 800 times h, the number of hours, but we have to add in the number of gallons that are initially in the tank, which is 3,600. Okay, so for part B, we have 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to convert 15 minutes into a reduced fraction or a decimal. So it's 15 minutes out of the 60 minutes in an hour, which reduces to 1/4. But when I'm going to write this, I like to work with decimals sometimes. So we could also write it as a positive 1 and 25 100ths. But for right now, let's just make it 1 and 1/4, because it's 1 and 1/4 hours, equals negative 800. Now off to the side, I'm going to change 1 and 1/4 into a mixed number, just to remind you, from a mixed number into an improper fraction. So we multiply, then we add, and we keep the denominator. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so it's 5/4. And the reason I'm going to keep it as 5/4 is it will make it easy math to leave it as an improper fraction when we're working without a calculator. So negative 800 times 5/4 plus 3,600. Now again, off to the side here, I'm going to just show you the easiest way to multiply the negative 800, which we could put over 1, times 5/4. So before we go through all the trouble of multiplying negative 800 times 5, let's reduce the 800 over 4 to negative 200 over 1, because 200 is the reduced version of 800 over 4. So now we just simply have negative 1,000. So it's negative 1,000 plus 3,600, which leaves us with 2,600 gallons of water after 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, you could put the word gallons in there. I'll kind of just put a G for gallons. After how much time will the tank contain 200 gallons? So now what we're doing is we know what G of H is. So we're going to put 200 in for G of H. And what we're going to do is we're going to solve this time for H. So we're going kind of in the other direction this time. Okay, so the 200 went in for G of H. We are going to subtract 3,600 from both sides. I'm not going to show that step, but we know that if we subtract 3,600 from both sides, we get negative 3,400 equals negative 800H. So over here, I'm just going to show that work. We're going to kind of go right up here. And what we have is negative 3,400. If we divide both sides by negative 800, we get H by itself. And yes, we can do this without a calculator because the zeros cancel, and we have negative 34 over negative 8, which can reduce because both 34 and 8 are divisible by 2. The negatives cancel, so H is simply equal to 17 it's going to be 17 over 4. And now what we can calculate is how we can make this improper fraction of 17/4 hours into hours and minutes. So 4 goes into 17 4 times with 1/4 left over. With 1 left over, I should say, which gives us 4 and 1/4. So 17/4 is 4 and 1/4 hours. And so what we can do now, since they wanted it in hours and minutes, we can write our final answer as 4 hours, 15 minutes. Okay, the last part is part D, where we are graphing G of H. I already took the liberty of writing in the scales just to save that time in the video, but please stop it if you'd like to think about why the scale that I use makes the most sense. And so what we know is we know at time 0, so at 0 hours, we have 3,600. Just going to zoom in on this a little bit so you can see it really clearly. So we have 3,600 gallons. Then after 1 hour, we are down because 800 gallons are leaving every single hour. So we're down at 2,800 gallons. After 2 hours, we are all the way down at 2,000 gallons. And after 3 hours, we're going to take away another 800. So we are down at 1,200 gallons. And after 4 hours, we are all the way down at 400 gallons. Now, because we lose 800 gallons every hour, the time that we get to zero is when we're halfway between 4 hours and 5 hours. So I'm going to put our last point right there. And the graph is simply going to be the line that we can draw all the way through these points. And that line represents the amount of water in the tank at a given number of hours. Okay, great job. We'll see you next time at Engage Math.